Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching A Healthy Alternative. Today, we're going to be looking at my 3-month fitness update. All right, guys, so we're going to be getting into this fitness update. And like I said, this is a 3-month fitness update. So I started this roughly in June, and I'm going to give you guys some strength updates. I'm going to give you guys some pictures updates. I'm going to give you guys some inches updates. All right. Okay, so here's some basic information. 32 years old. I'm 6'6", and when I started this, I was 183 pounds. Here's a picture of me when I very first started this whole process. And to be honest with you, I am extremely happy with the results, especially based on the amount of work I put into it. And that's one of the things I wanted you guys to be able to see, is that you didn't have to work super hard, whether you're busy. You know, a lot of people have a lot of things going on in their lives, kids, whatever. And so I actually worked out 3 days per week for roughly an hour and 15 minutes every day. And that's just really based on you. The amount of exercises that my brother had for me varied, and we were trying to figure things out and play with things and whatever. So you don't have to be in there long. I would say 45 minutes at least is what you're probably gonna need to get, you know, decent results or similar results, comparable results, I should say. All right, so 183 pounds, 6'6". Now let's look at my measurements. All right, so at this point in time, I had a 32 waist. Now my waist started off originally when I originally started fasting at a 35. It was like around a 35, 36. So going down to 32 is phenomenal. And it doesn't take as long as a year or anything of that nature. I did very mild fasting, and I utilized a lot of intermittent fasting. All the results that I'm going to be presenting to you guys today, you could get within 3 months. So losing 60 pounds, the strength gains, all of the inches that I've lost, you guys can all see similar results within 3 months. Don't think that that has to be a year-long process. It all depends on how committed you are, what you're looking to get out of it, how quickly, and your dedication really to the process. You know, you have to be consistent. That is the biggest key that you probably will hear anybody who talks about fitness, nutrition, health, whatever. Consistency is key, and that is true here with fasting as well. So my left arm was 12.5 inches. My right arm was 12.75 inches in circumference. Now, before I go on, I want you guys to know that these measurements are relaxed measurements, okay? When I very first took these measurements, I had no idea how my body was gonna change. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, I really wanna be as accurate as possible. So I'm gonna take relaxed measurements in order to give people the most accurate picture. Well, I was wrong. What I've learned is your body, when you are building natural, healthy muscle, it doesn't inflate like your traditional muscle that you would see from a bodybuilder, or the type of muscle you would see if you were following a traditional diet with protein and nutrition and things of that nature. On an alkaline diet, or when you're fasting, your muscles do not inflate like that. Now, don't get me wrong, they get stronger, and you'll see that with my strength gains, but they get dense. They get really, really dense. They don't puff up. They don't have a whole bunch of water and fat, which is what you typically would see and we would typically look at as gains. Be like, oh, you know, my arm started off at 12.5, now it's at 13.5, so it's got an inch of circumference. But what you don't realize is a lot of that is water and fat, right? So because of how me and John are actually going about building muscle, we don't see that large inflation in a relaxed form. So the second set of measurements I'm gonna be giving you guys are going to be tensed measurements. So they're gonna sound really big or different, maybe some of them. But I'm gonna be doing another update video in probably about 3 months or so, and those will be tensed measurements. So you guys will get an opportunity to compare between two sets of tensed measurements. Today we're gonna be comparing between relaxed measurements and tensed measurements. And the reason for that, the main reason is because honestly, if I didn't do that, you would see no difference and you would think that it was a complete failure. And I wanna try to give you guys the most complete picture possible. So even though my arms aren't physically a lot larger in a relaxed form, when I tense them, they are much bigger, and you'll see that here in a second. So going back to the measurements, my shoulder measured at 44.25 or 44 1/4. And all these measurements are in inches. My glute was 37 inches. My left leg, I measured my left leg at my hamstring. So just the thickest part of my upper leg. I measured that at 22 inches, and my right leg was at 22.5 inches. And I have a calf measurement, but I forgot to add it. Maybe I'll throw it up on the screen and you guys will see that. So those were my starting measurements. All right, now in my 3rd month of fitness, here are my current measurements. My weight is 183 pounds. My weight has not changed at all, which is extremely, extremely cool to me. My chest is 41 3/4. My waist is still 32. One of the things that I told my brother, I said, I don't want my waist to get too small. I just spent all this money on new pants because I lost all that weight. I needed new pants. I was like, so I don't want my waist to get small. What are we gonna do? He said, man, you're gonna have to hit those side bends. You're gonna have to keep those obliques, work those oblique muscles, keep your waist from getting too small. So I would say so far so good. I have not seen any issues with my pants. My left arm, which would be my bicep, okay? And I just, with my measurement with my arm, I went across the peak of my bicep, all right? Now remember, this is tensed, all right? So I'm flexing on y'all, all right? This is 14.5, okay? So that's the circumference of my bicep, which sounds really small compared to like some of those old school wrestlers with 32-inch bicep python arms. My right arm is 14.5 too. So I noticed I was able to even out some of the sizes in my body. My arms and legs are pretty even. My shoulders are 45. So that was roughly an increase of 3/4 inches, which is significant for me. I've always had a lot of trouble with my shoulders. They've always been very weak. They've always been very small. They've always been very underdeveloped. And it's been a slow process of building up my strength in my shoulders, just because, to be honest with you, I didn't want to hurt myself. I also wanted to make sure I went through this whole process, completed every day. I didn't want to overwork myself. So the first 3 months was kind of like conditioning, if you will. And I've actually started to increase my weight tremendously. I'm lifting heavy now. I'm also lifting a little bit different, doing some different variances to just keep my body, off its toes. I want to make sure I keep it off balance and continue to see these strength gains. I noticed that my left thigh is at 22 inches. My right leg is at 21.5. That could be an error in the measurement or the measurer, the person who measured it, or it could be half an inch smaller. I don't know, but very, very close. And then I did do my calf in this one, so we'll be able to compare my calves today to my calves 3 months from now or whatever it is. And my calves are measuring at 14 1/4. So on both sides. Now my glute is at a 39. So my glute did increase by 2 inches. Look at that. Now I've been doing lunges. I hate lunges. I've been doing lunges. I haven't been doing squats, but I've never really gone hard on working out my legs. So it took me a while to get, used to doing the lunges. I was in a lot of pain, honestly, doing the lunges at first, but I've slowly, built up conditioning and the muscle there. So I'm able to do much more weight. So we'll probably see a better increase in my glute coming up in 3 months. The ladies love tight buns, the buns of steel, for you guys who are old enough to remember those buns of steel video and those abs of steel videos. All right, now I'm gonna give you guys somewhat of a rundown of the type of exercising I was doing at the gym. And pretty much I went 3 days a week. So I went Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All right, and if I missed a day, which only happened maybe 2 or 3 times, I just made it up on the weekend, or I just made it up some other day. So that gives you a lot of leeway if you guys, if the schedule sounds too strict or whatever and you need leeway. I think 3 days is doable. 3 days, roughly 1 hour a day. I think that that's really feasible for most people. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to give you guys my starting weight in all of the exercises that I do. I'm gonna give you my starting weight and my end weight, and then we'll look at a strength increase percentage type thing over the 3 months so you guys can see. And I didn't really change anything. I was doing 3 sets, 10 reps in each set, and I was lifting moderate. I wasn't lifting heavy, so this would be a comfortable 10. I could squeeze out 10 usually, sometimes maybe 9. By the 3rd set, I was tired, I was fatigued. I probably wouldn't have been able to do another full 10 reps. So that's about where you want to be, or if you're going to be comparing yourself to me, that's where I was as far as comfortable. I've got it here in my phone. I originally started June 26, 2017. That was day 1. All right, so we're going to be going over these numbers real quick, and I'm going to be starting from my day 1, which was Monday. On Monday, I would do chest and back, and I'm just going to go down this list and explain things if I feel like they need little explanations. All right, so machine dip. Now, with the machine dip, it didn't actually give me a weight amount, it just gave me a number amount. So instead of saying, oh, you're lifting 150 pounds, it would say, oh, you're lifting number 9. And I didn't take the time to try to figure out exactly how number 9 correlates to a actual weight. So we're just going to be looking at the percentage increase, which would still give us an accurate reading of my strength gains. And I'm sure there's a way to figure out the weight. I just don't feel like doing it. So anyway, we started off at number 9. And then at the end of the 3 months, I ended up lifting number 12. And that is a 25% strength increase. Chest flies, I started off lifting 40 pounds and I ended up lifting 60 pounds for a 34% strength increase. Low chest cables, okay, this is actually one of my favorite exercises. My chest has always been kind of underdeveloped, or it was never looked the way I wanted it to, and I know these chest exercises have been helping it a lot. So anyway, starting off at 13 pounds and ending at 20 pounds for a 33% strength increase. Dumbbell pullovers, started off with 35 pounds, ended up with 55 pounds for a 37% strength increase. Lat pull downs, started off at 115 pounds, ended up at 145 pounds for a 21% increase. Lat rows, started off at 100 pounds, ended up at 130 pounds for a 24% strength increase. Mid rows, started off at 85, ended up at 115 pounds for a 27% strength increase. C-grip pull down, started off at 115 pounds, ended at 145 pounds for a 21% strength increase. And then with the side bends, I just added side bends to this day because I don't have like an ab day. But I did 40 pounds, started off using 40 pounds. I ended up with 70 pounds for a 43% strength increase. Okay, so on day 2 or Wednesday, I would do arms and shoulders, which was a pretty long day for me. But I started off with the preacher curls, and I went from 60 pounds to, after the 3 months, doing 90 pounds for a 34% increase. Tricep extension I went from 30 pounds to 45 pounds for a 34% strength increase. Hammer curls, I went from 20 pounds to 30 pounds for a 34% strength increase. Barbell curls, I went from 50 pounds to 60 pounds for a 17% strength increase. And also I had to work on my form with the barbell curls and the hammer curls, which my brother got me right on, which made it a little bit harder to lift it. But now I'm back up to being able to curl 70 pounds with the dumbbells, with the barbell, which is what I used to do back in the day using improper form, so I'm pretty happy about that. My tricep kickbacks, I really enjoyed that one. It went from 10 pounds to 20 pounds for a 50% strength increase. My lateral raises went from 55 pounds to 70 pounds for a 22% strength increase. The scapular internal rotation went from 10 pounds to 20 pounds for a 50% increase. Scapular external went from 7 to 13 pounds for a 47% strength increase. Shoulder shrugs went from 60 to 75 pounds for a 15% strength increase. And honestly, I could do a lot more. It was more just about holding the weight, you know, the grip strength, because as you're holding these 60, 70, 80 pound weights, doing these exercises, you tend to want to let them go. Rear delt I started off at 75 pounds. I ended up at 90 pounds for a 17% strength increase. And the punch exercise is pretty much an ab exercise I did with resistant cables. And I started off at, well, it wasn't resistant cables, but it was just, yeah, it was resist. It was like the pulley cables. Started off at 20 pounds, ended up at 23 pounds for a 14% strength increase. Now, on my last day, which would be Friday, I did legs, and I just wanted to do legs on Friday just to make sure that I had time to recover in case I went too hard. But so far, so good. I haven't had to like recover from legs, even though I went hard on legs the first couple of weeks, and it was, you know, I was definitely pushing myself. So anyway, lunges started off at 20 pounds and ended up at 35 pounds for a 43% increase. Abduction outer, which is just you're pushing your legs outward. It's 100. I started off at 110 pounds. I ended up at 170 pounds for a 36% increase. The inner, which is the opposite of the outer, it's the exact same numbers. My seated calf raise started off at 70 pounds, went up to 100 pounds for a 30% strength increase. Calf raises started off at 140, ended up at 230 pounds for a 40% strength increase. And then with the next three exercises, these are single leg exercises. So single leg press started off at 90 pounds, ended up at 130 for a 31% strength increase. Single leg extension started off at 45 pounds, ended up at 75 pounds for a 40% strength increase. And leg curl, single leg curl started off at 70 pounds, ended up at 90 pounds for a 23% strength increase. So over the next few months, 3 or 4 months, I'll be monitoring my strength increases, and we will definitely be having an update video coming up soon. Maybe for the new year. I think that'll be a good time to release that. But as you can see, I got anywhere from 14% to 50% gains during this 3-month process, working out 3 days a week, eating an alkaline meal twice a day, with, you know, the breaks on the weekends or whatever to eat kind of whatever I wanted to. About an hour a day in the gym. So you're looking at about 3 hours per week. You're looking at a total of about 36 days in the gym. And honestly, it was pretty easy. I didn't push myself super hard. I didn't want to hurt myself. And I got amazing results. My strength gains should say it all. All right, so guys, that's it. I'm gonna wrap this video up. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was long. Like I said, I'm gonna break this up into 2 sections. So if you caught the second section and all you saw was my 3-month update, there is another full-length video that's gonna have my 1-year fasting journey attached to it, along with this section. So you guys definitely wanna check that out. This has been an amazing experience. I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen in the future. For the next couple of months, I'm gonna be lifting heavy. I'm gonna be doing some of the slow timed lifting, and I'm really hoping to see some size. What I'm starting to understand is size and weight don't necessarily correlate. And so my body likes to be at 183 pounds, 185 pounds, and we'll see if I can get up to, you know, closer to the 200-pound range. But I imagine if I ever do get that size by eating alkaline and, you know, fasting and exercising, then I'm gonna be like a brick house. Like I'm gonna be a solid brick, and I'm gonna probably look like I'm 230 because, like I mentioned earlier, the way your body develops when you're using this type of therapy or this type of system or this type of eating habit or however you want to look at it, it develops much, much differently than traditional means. And so you don't see the gains like you would using traditional methods, but your strength definitely goes up, even if you don't see your muscles. And also I would say my vascularity has increased quite a bit. The striations, I mean, I've got veins, veins just sit on my arm now, which, you know, I've always attributed someone who's got, you know, really veiny arms and whatever legs to being strong. And I'm starting to see that that is definitely the case. It's better blood flow. You know, it is definitely indicative of someone who would be considered stronger, and especially for their size. I mean, I'm a slim dude, but I've never had veins. I never had veins. When I started eating right and I started exercising, I started seeing all these amazing changes in my body. My chest is taking shape. You know, for the first time, I actually showed the world my chest. And it felt good to feel comfortable enough to do that. Yes, I'd like to get bigger, but as of right now, I'm comfortable enough to do it, and it feels amazing. It's like letting go of a whole bunch of baggage you've been holding on for all your life. I don't know. Guys, if you are encouraged by these videos at all, please ask questions. Join the Facebook group if you want support. Ask anything you want, ask as much as you want. Right now, we're not so big to where I can't personally address everybody's questions. So, you know, get in there, ask your questions, start your journey now while I can give you as much attention as you possibly would need. And yeah, let's all get healthy. Let's all get fit. If you guys like that video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, the application of knowledge is power, and I'll see you guys next time.